my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new. My name is Natalie, and today's video is going to be all about my favorite MAC Cosmetics products. Most of what you're gonna see is my entire MAC collection. I know that when I started getting into makeup, MAC was the brand. I mean, it was in a lot of ways a status symbol of just the best makeup that you could get. And if I wanted any sort of product, it was, oh, you gotta go to MAC. They still have what I think is a very inclusive, extensive collection. I still consider MAC to be a great brand, a very good quality brand. And yeah, we're gonna talk about a lot of products because I think that they have a lot of really, really good products. So let's go ahead and get started. And I think I'm gonna start with the complexion-y type stuff that I have. The first thing that I wanna talk about is something I haven't worn in a really long time because the shade that I have is too dark for me. But do you guys remember the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer? Comes in this glass little bottle with a pump. Not many concealers these days, if any, have a pump or packaging like this. I still love this concealer, and I say still because this concealer used to be talked about a lot on YouTube. It is, I think, still one of the best formulas out there. The formula on this is very special because it is very full coverage. It is a thin formula though. It's not something that is full coverage, but you have to pay the price of it being super, super thick and uncomfortable. I would also consider this to be the most anti-crease concealer formula that I've ever tried in another concealer. Now, I have gotten into the habit of baking under my eyes, so I don't really find that most concealers crease on me any longer because I do that technique. But if you are somebody who doesn't want to bake, if you are somebody who's really frustrated with creasing, I would give this a try. Also, like I said, if you want something with very full coverage, the only gripe I have with this is that the packaging is kind of annoying. I prefer like a doe foot applicator. You know, that to me is just the easiest to apply. This you do have to pump out like on the back of your hand or on a palette and then apply it, but I do still think it's worth it. Also, glass packaging, I've dropped these before and they will break on your tile floor. Shocking, I know, but love that concealer. So that's really the only coverage type product. The rest of the complexion that I have is highlighters, bronzers, and blushes for sure. So let's move on to that. Let's start with bronzers. I have two, and it's interesting because the formulas that I have are not technically labeled as bronzers in the MAC world. These are actually face powders, and I'm talking about the mineralized skin finishes. I have two shades. One actually is meant to be like a bronzing shade. It's called Give Me Sun. Super popular cult favorite product is the Give Me Sun. And then I have a darker one that is more just like complexion powder product for deeper skin tones, and this is called Dark Deepest. Now I have both because this I can wear when I'm my shade, maybe a little bit more fair, a little bit more tan. This is like I'm super tan shade. I'll swatch both of them for you. This formula is phenomenal. The Give Me Sun especially, I have raved about this product for so long. I recently repurchased it probably 6 months ago and I can't put it down. It is stunning if you like warm bronzers. Do not buy this if you don't like a leaning orange warm bronzer. I love that. I think it's so pretty. And that's what this is going to give you. The formula is a baked formula on both of these mineralized skin finish products. So it is very smooth and non-patchy, easy to blend formula. I love it, okay? Like I love it. It is expensive. I think one of these is like $36, but I think it's 100% worth it. So this is Give Me Sun right here, obviously the lighter one, and this is Dark Deepest. And I can't say enough good things. I love the formula. I love the colors. They're gorgeous. I highly recommend them. Another baked product from MAC is going to be their Mineralized Skin Finish highlighting powders. I have two. One is the most famous, is Soft and Gentle. This was actually not this one, but this was my first ever highlighter. And what a sweet thing to say. This Soft and Gentle is stunning. It's what I'm wearing right now. Because it's a baked formula, it is again very smooth, very easy to blend out, doesn't look chunky, doesn't have a whole bunch of glitter flecks. Very reflective though, as you can see. And the other one that I have is for when I'm a little bit more tan. This is called Global Glow. So I'll show you them both side by side. They don't look too different in the pan, but this one is definitely better suited for when I'm more tan. Like I said, let me swatch them for you. The lighter one is going to look the most reflective, especially on my skin tone right now, whereas Global Glow doesn't look as exciting, but it is the same very reflective formula. You just have to have a little bit of a deeper skin tone in order for it to look reflective. But both are gorgeous. Love having them in my collection, wear them all the time. Although of course, since I'm more fair, I do pick Soft and Gentle over Global Glow most of the time. Let's move on to blushes, and I have 5 that I wanna talk about. I think MAC is very well known for their blushes. I love that they sell them in, and most of their products, they sell in a pan form. So if you do have a magnetic palette, or especially if you're a makeup artist, you can magnetize them and have a whole array of blushes. They also sell magnetic packaging if you want to do that. And it is cheaper to purchase a pan because you're not buying the plastic. So first though, I want to talk about a blush that has been discontinued, but I think this formula is still available in different colors. This is the Extra Dimension blush. This one is in the shade Telling Glow. Like I said, unfortunately, this was a limited edition product. Absolutely stunning. But if you can find another shade that you like, I would say grab it immediately. This is a glow bomb. Like this, I'm having flashbacks of when I first swatched this, and I just could not stop. Like it was like, I don't care if I have to sell a kidney, I'm buying this. Luckily I did not. It's not that expensive, but oh my God. Like I love this formula. So stunning. Like cannot get over it. So that one is in the shade, like I said, Telling Glow. Maybe you could find it on like, I don't know, what's the site? Depop or something. Poshmark I know sells makeup. Highly recommend. Stunning. Let's talk about their other regular blushes that they have though, and that are permanent items. The first one is so popular. This is called Peaches. One of my first, if not my first, MAC blush, and still holding strong as far as formula goes. The only thing that's hard is this is kind of hard to swatch because it is like a very buildable product. I mean, most blush is. So even when I swatch it there, it looks very like unassuming and not exciting. It is a very buildable matte blush. So it gives you a really nice soft peach look, and I do love peach on my cheeks. The other one that I really like is called Copper Tone, and I'll show you just as a comparison so you can see. This one is Copper Tone, this one is Peaches. You can see Peaches is a lot more soft and bright, whereas this one is a little bit more terracotta. Again though, a matte formula, and I can get a little bit more of a swatch there. Really pretty. I mean, this is like ideal everyday blush for me. Ooh, I love it. So fun to swatch your products that you haven't swatched, even if you've worn them. If you haven't swatched them in a while, it's really fun to swatch them and look at them on your arm or your hand. I love that. Another absolute favorite is called Pinch Me. I remember I actually saw a makeup artist wearing this like really vibrant blush one day, and I was like, what are you wearing? And she told me it was Pinch Me, and I bought it on the spot. It is gorgeous. I would say it's the same depth as Copper Tone as far as darkness goes, but it's a lot more pink. Just zoom you in so you can see a little bit. Again, Peaches, Copper Tone, and Pinch Me. Gorgeous. And I have one non-matte blush other than the Extra Dimension one I first swatched, and this is called Sunbask. So this one is going to be a little more glowy, not as glowy as the Extra Dimension one, but still has sort of a sheen to it there. Really pretty, almost like the equivalent of Copper Tone, but in a shimmer form. Just so you can see, I'm going to swatch. Oh my God. This is like, would be such a pretty eyeshadow too. Are you guys freaking out? Because I'm freaking out. Like, this is something I want a tattoo of this. Like, this is so pretty. I could just look at it all day. Okay, so that is all of the face products that I have. Let's move on to eyes. I don't have a ton of eye products, but I do have about 8 shadows and 1 pigment that I did want to mention. Really 7 shadows. So I've talked about this little palette recently in a palette declutter video, and as you can see, and as you saw in that video, it did survive that declutter. And this is actually a Patrick Starr collaboration palette that is no longer available, but you can still buy all of these individual shades as they are staples and bestsellers in the MAC line. My favorites from this palette and in general are as follows. All of these 3, not really this one. This one is called, I always forget, this shimmer one is called Amber Lights, and it's pretty. A lot of people really love it. Like I said, these are all best-selling products or best-selling shadows. It's just not my favorite. The shimmer doesn't blow me away, and that's really what I look for. I have another shimmer shadow that I'm gonna talk about though. Okay, absolutely stunning. Let me zoom you back in for the swatches. These are my 3 absolute favorites, and even if you can't buy them in this palette, like I said, I do suggest you buy them in the single form. As I mentioned, you can buy little single magnetic shadows, or you can buy them in an actual little pot. So we have Soft Brown, iconic blending crease shade. Absolutely could use this every single day and would be happy. Then we have Swiss Chocolate, gorgeous mid-tone, warmish red tinted brown. Oh my God, love. Then we have a true red brown, almost a burgundy. This is called I'm Into It. I find that this on your eyes, even though in the pan it looks very red and somewhat in the swatch as well, but I find on my eyes it just looks more like a deeper reddish toned brown. The other shadows that I have are in this little pan format. They're not in a palette, unfortunately. I just put them in a magnetized palette though, and they work great for me. One of my absolute favorite shadows for years and years and years is the iconic brown script. I die for this shadow. This has been duped by brands like Makeup Geek. I think I have a shadow from Makeup Forever that is very similar, so it's not that you can't find it if you don't shop at MAC, but this was the first shadow that I found that gave me what I was looking for, and it still does. It is a very warm, rusty brown that makes basically any eye color pop. Especially if you have green eyes though. I mean, this orange rust tone really brings that out. I have kind of like brown / hazel eyes, so I find that it looks good on me too. Blue eyes, it would look great. I mean, it is just a stunning staple eyeshadow. I die for it. I also have another one that I can't live without. This used to be exclusively a pro shadow. That's why it's in the bigger pan, whereas you can see their normal shadows are quite small. This now though is sold in a normal size shadow, and you don't have to go to just pro stores to get it. Do you recognize it? Some of you I bet do. It is called Uninterrupted. It is a kind of puke brown color, just gorgeous camel brown shade. I am obsessed. Then we have a really dark, super pigmented brown, and this is in the shade Embark. Ooh, this is super dark. Actually quite cool toned as well, which is not something I love in general, but when it comes to browns, I can definitely get behind it. And then I have one shimmer shade that I think is just to die for. It is my absolute most used inner corner highlight and brow bone highlight, but especially inner corner. This is the shade Nylon. I actually worked at a MAC counter in Nordstrom. These are some of the shadows that I would sell constantly, but especially Nylon. The swatch just sells itself. This shade and the shimmer that it gives off is so high quality, so pigmented, and I find that it blows a lot of the other shimmer shadows for MAC out of the water. So here we have all of those shades that I wanted to share with you, and I'm obsessed with all of them. Okay, since we're talking shadows, I do have one pigment that I want to mention. All of MAC's pigments, as far as I'm concerned, are gorgeous. And I know a lot of people don't use pigments anymore, but I do think that there is a place for them in most people's makeup collection. If you are a, not just makeup collector, but just makeup lover in general, and you want something that is going to really shine literally on your eyes, that is going to look so much more vibrant than most pressed shadows, I would say try a pigment. Luckily, most of MAC's best-selling pigments are now sold, or have been sold for a while now, but sold in like a smaller little mini bottle that I think are only like $10. And I think that's the best way to go, because I'll show you a full size here that I literally could not use up if I tried. I mean, I've had this for years and I just will never, like, it's at the top still. Like, I will never, ever, like, use this up. So I suggest if you have a color that you like and it's in that bestseller shade, which this is one of them, I would go with the mini size route. But the shadow that I want to mention is this one in the shade Tan. This is a gorgeous rose gold delight. Hello? I mean, what's happening? And this isn't even wet, so you can imagine if you wet that pigment, what that would look like, or use a glitter glue. Gorgeous rose gold shade, and I just think it's like the best of the best. Okay, I do have two products that I want to talk about, and then we'll talk about lip products, which I think MAC is also very famous for. As far as brushes go, MAC has been known for having some of the best quality tools and brushes in the industry. When I would sell some of MAC's brushes, one of the things I would always say is that, yes, these are a little bit more expensive, but these brushes are going to last you like 10 years plus. And that is from my personal experience. That was not like a sales tactic. That was brushes that I've bought myself have lasted me over 10 years, have not shed excessively, have lasted through multiple washes, and are just, like I said, some of the best quality brushes that I've ever found. Now, here's the thing. About a year or two ago, that MAC actually completely changed all of their brushes, or almost all of their brushes, to synthetic hair. And for some of the brushes that they sell, I've heard some negativity about them. Not to say like you can't trust MAC brushes anymore. I think that some of them are still very good, especially the ones that were already synthetic hair. All that's to say, I'm a little bit weary of recommending every single brush that I have, because the brushes that I have are 10 years old and are not necessarily the same type of hair that they're selling now. However, one of the brushes that I am pretty sure is still the same that I have to recommend, because it is one of my absolute favorite brushes, and I have never found another brush at cheaper companies like Morphe. I've never found the exact same size, the exact same type bristles, the exact same shape as this brush. It looks dupeable, but I haven't really seen other brands dupe it. Does that make sense? So the brush I'm talking about is the 242. I can barely see the writing on this. This is a very small, flat shader brush. And I do have, for example, a shader brush that I love from Sigma. This I bought before the MAC one because I was trying to find a little bit cheaper alternative. And as you can see, they may be the same format as far as a flat paddle type brush, but this Sigma one, although I love it, is bigger. I like also having this small option, especially if you have not massive lids. So I do still recommend this one. I love it for packing on shimmer shadows or any sort of packing that I'm gonna be doing on my lid. I love this brush. Again, it's the 242, so I wanted to mention it. However, unfortunately, I do have to put out that disclaimer that I'm not really sure how the other brushes are nowadays. If you do know, let me know down below in the comments. The other product that's not lip related is something you guys, if you watch any of my videos, have seen me rave about in empties videos and in favorites videos and things like that. This is a product I have repurchased countless times. And this is the mascara that is the Extended Play Giga Black Lash. I have to have this exclusively for my lower lashes. You can see it is a very thin wand, long, tiny bristles, and it is literally the only mascara I have found, and I have tried drugstore dupes. The only mascara that I found formula-wise and format-wise, as far as like the shape of the wand and things like that, that works for my lower lashes. I don't have that impressive of lower lashes, and this is the only one that doesn't make a complete mess, that doesn't get everywhere, that actually grabs onto my lashes, that looks black enough, that the formula's wet enough that it gets on my lashes. I mean, guys, I've tried a lot. I still will take a recommendation if you have one. You can put it in the comments, but this is my tried and true. I literally have a brand new backup waiting to be loved by me as soon as I feel like this one's dried out too much. But I have to have that for my lower lashes. Have I sold you? I hope I have. Last, we have lip products, and the main thing that I want to talk about is the lip liners. I love this lip liner formula, and they have a couple different formulas if you go to a MAC counter or MAC store. One, I believe, is their Pro Longwear formula that is a little bit creamier, it's a little bit softer, and that one is actually not my favorite, even though it's said to last longer and a lot of people like the super creamy formula. It's not my favorite, and I've talked about this before because I like a little bit of a drier lip liner formula. Number one, it has to be a little bit dry, and number two, it has to be a regular ass pencil that I can sharpen to a very sharp point so I can line my lips the way I like to line them. I like definition, I like overlining on my top lip just a little bit, and these are the best that I found. I can't find a drugstore dupe. I don't really feel like I need to because these give me what I want. So let's talk about some colors. And these are literally like every MAC lip liner I own. So my absolute favorite liner for my lips that I own, not just from MAC, but that I own and that I will almost definitely wear on my wedding day, is called Boldly Bare. You can see it has gotten a little bit small. This is, to me, my absolute perfect pinky nude that I can wear with light pinks or nude shades. It goes with so much. This is it for me. Like, I die for this, love it. Next, I have the shade Whirl, which was made popular by Kylie Jenner a few years ago. And it's a little bit more mauve, as you can see. I will zoom in on these in a moment. I also have the shade, I've had this for so long. This was one of my first MAC lip liners. This is the shade Half Red. This is even more mauve than Whirl. A little more deep, a little more fallish, if you ask me. Then I have the shade Spice. Super popular, and I get a lot of use out of this as well. This is, I mean, these are all probably looking very similar because they are, but this is a little bit more terracotta, has a little bit more warmth to it. But still appropriate for every day. And then I have the shade Soar. Do you guys remember when Soar was like the lip liner that every beauty YouTuber had ever? Like, I am having so many memory flashbacks right now. This is gorgeous. I should wear this more. It has more depth to it than my favorite, which is Boldly Bare, and it's a little bit more pink, but still has like that mauve tone. So those are the shades there. And again, that one's my favorite right there. But this formula, like I said, is so good. And I don't want to scare you away by saying it's a drier formula, because it's not dry. As you hopefully saw when I was swatching, it wasn't like I had to dig into my skin. It's not too dry. It's the perfect amount of dry. In my opinion, I absolutely love them. Okay, let's move on to actual like lipsticks. And the three lipsticks, regular lipsticks bullet formula that I wanted to talk about, I do have some more here, but a couple of them have been discontinued or are limited edition. But the three staples that I want to mention that I can't live without are the following. My absolute favorite pinky nude, from MAC at least, is the shade Blankety. This, oh my God, is so pretty. This with this lip liner Boldly Bare and Blankety, match made in heaven, if you ask me. Absolutely gorgeous. Definitely a contender for my wedding day if I want that perfect pinky nude, which I definitely do. The next one that is a little bit more, that has a little bit more color, not as pale, that I think more people will like, is the shade Modesty. And I love this shade as well. Definitely still pinky nude. I mean, they look very similar, but Modesty has a little bit more depth, a little bit more warmth as well. And lastly is a shade that I feel like I sold the most when I wore it when working at MAC. Even though I like this shade, I think it's really pretty. It's not my absolute favorite, but like I said, every time I wore it, people were like, what are you wearing? What are you wearing? What are you wearing? So I thought that I would definitely include it here. And this is a matte formula, and this is in the shade Kinda Sexy. This is a really peachy pink shade that, like I said, a lot of people seem to like. I also like it, but I sold so much of it that I have to mention it here in case that you guys like it as well. Gorgeous peach shade. The formula on these lipsticks are so good. I love all three of these colors and obviously felt that they were worth mentioning in this video. Okay, and with that said, that is going to complete this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to know for real what products I talked about in this video that either you already love or that you are going to try out. I stand by all of them. I had so much fun actually just looking at my own collection and swatching products. Like I mentioned, that is such a therapeutic thing to do and I never get tired of it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed as much as I did, and hopefully you'll subscribe so you can watch more of my videos. I certainly hope you do. If you did enjoy this one, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and I hope to see you as well in my next video. All right, bye.